Welcome to Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio coverage of NTC 15, the Nonprofit Technology Conference. We're in Austin, Texas at the Convention Center on day 2. My guest now is Amy Sample Ward. She is the CEO of NTEN, the Nonprofit Technology Network, and the regular social media contributor to Nonprofit Radio. Amy Sample Ward, welcome.
Hi.
It's good to have you in person.
Yeah, it's fun. I miss being in person.
Thank you, since you left New York City.
Yeah.
We are each day. By the way, that noise was not Nonprofit Radio sound system. That was the. I'll leave out my adjective. That was the sound system for NTEN. Well, the convention center. We don't know.
It was definitely not NTEN.
No.
The convention center is setting something up.
Okay, and Nonprofit Radio has high quality sound. This second day, we are highlighting a swag item each interview, and we have appropriately hashtag NP Tech socks for this interview with Amy Sample Ward, CEO. So there are the socks, and for those listening to the podcast, they are green, mostly all green with a little brighter green heel and toe, and orange hashtag NP Tech. Love it.
And NTEN on the other side.
Oh, and NTEN's on the other side. Oh, there's NTEN on the second side. Let's get a picture of that also. Great socks. I'm going to enjoy wearing these. Thank you. And we're adding them to the swag pile on day 2.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank
it's good
you.
to see you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on over to the show.
Oh, and I'm very glad it worked out.
Yeah.
I'm doing we did 14 yesterday.
Oh my
literally.
gosh.
And how many we have 8 today, Marissa? 11? We're going to leave 25 interviews. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's 12 and a half shows of interviews.
Yeah. And and many of them were with multiple folks.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
saw from the pictures.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
We had a panel of 4 today, and I only have 3 mics.
Yeah. Well, so in just
3
days of the conference, we have about 300 speakers.
Outstanding.
All
right.
You have a great sample.
I bet I got more than 10%. I gotta have to have more than 10% of the. Yes,
that's awesome.
Outstanding. Share some NTC 2015 stats. How many people are here? How many hotels are we in?
I don't have. Okay, well, we sold out all of our blocks in 6 hotels, 2 months ago.
All right.
So I'm sure we're in lots of hotels. And registrations, I'll get the latest numbers tomorrow morning for the plenary, but we're pretty close to 2,000.
Okay.
And some stats I shared this morning at the plenary. We've got 47 states. 16 countries.
Cool.
We have 24 people here who this is their 10th or more NTC.
Oh, this has been going longer than I realized.
Yeah.
Somebody said 2007 was the first. That's wrong.
Oh, no. The
no.
conference, it wasn't called the NTC, but it was happening, and that was the reason NTEN was formed, was to be the organization to maintain the convenings for this community.
So it was a community built around the event.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. We were just talking. I just had a panel of 4.
Oh,
Even though we only have 3 mics, we still had a panel of 4 on community building. That was Megan.
Exactly.
Megan, your membership director, was part of it. Okay.
Yeah, so NTEN was formed in 2000. So we normally use that as the kind of formalization of the conference because it, after NTEN was formed, there was a real process and support for an actual conference versus just smaller community convenings. And
But before that.
The community was still, they were called roundups. They were still coming together, mostly regionally, people that worked in nonprofits or for nonprofits, from the outside as technologists, trying to say, please tell me I'm not the only person who does this, and meeting up. And it was that community who said, it's not sustainable by ourselves to try and keep meeting up. We need support, and there needs to be something that's organizing all of us. And that's when Microsoft and Cerna and AOL gave the initial funding and formed NTEN.
NTEN. Outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. The community was, the community that's so encouraging community building.
Exactly.
Built itself around an event, and it knew it needed more.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
To be sustainable.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Let's talk a little about NTEN. I'll give you an opportunity to shout out.
Sure.
It's a very, very welcoming organization. You have tons of resources and events and things for non-members. Let's start with non-membership.
Yeah. Well, I think that we take being a C3 fairly seriously, and we recognize that even though we have membership as a way of making sure we're better able to know who's in the community, what resources they need, have channels to communicate with them. You know, membership just gives us direct kind of entry to all of that data and knowing what to do programmatically.
Yeah.
But like I said, we take being a C3 seriously. We want everyone to access what we're doing, resources we're creating, research that we're doing, and our mission isn't just to serve members. Our mission is that every nonprofit will be able to use technology strategically. So that requires everything be as accessible as it can be.
And it is not an organization only for technologists. Let's dispel that myth. Go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, I think, you know, when we were formed, it probably felt much more technical because of the community members that were in the community, right? And back in the 90s, a lot of folks didn't really think about technology in all of the departments of the organization. You know, not everyone in the organization even had a computer necessarily. So now, you know, many years later, everyone in an organization is using email, the web. You know, many of our tools or software is actually up in the cloud. We have documents that we're sharing. So everyone needs to be using technology, whether that's deep in the database or over here in HTML or whatever it is. So we want to make sure that everyone across an organization has access to knowledge and resources, but also to other people like them, people that have the same job as them in another organization. Because most nonprofits, you know, we're small enough that there's only one person that does that thing. So it can feel really isolating. You know, I'm the only one that knows how to send a mass email from our system. So making sure people can connect with each other in other organizations to find that one person in the other organization. We can complain together, but we can also, you know, help each other a lot.
And a lot of this is also live meetups.
Yeah.
There are local clubs throughout the world, right? You have international clubs, right?
Yeah. So there's a club in New York.
Yes,
and you've even been,
I
right?
have been, yeah.
So there's a club in New York
That's where I tried
and
on,
in Portland.
I tested Google Glass.
Oh,
yeah.
How was that?
I loved it. It was a while ago. Chris Tuttle, you know, was one of the beta testers selected by Google, and I had fun with it. You know, I talked to it.
Did you move your eyes and it did things?
I don't remember that part.
Oh, okay.
I remember talking to it. I like the verbal commands. Yeah,
nice.
I was impressed by that. But yeah, so I've been a couple times. I've been another couple.
Yeah.
Local
So
clubs,
there's tech clubs all across the U.S., Canada, Poland, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's the online, the live. Okay, so now membership also very open.
Yep.
Membership is really cheap. Share.
Membership. I try to avoid the word cheap.
Oh,
because it is valuable, but it is affordable.
It's affordable. You're very
because we want it. We don't want the membership to be the barrier to this information. And like I said before,
clearly,
membership to us isn't the only way that we're going to be a sustainable organization revenue-wise. You know, membership to us is really a way to say, these are the people that get it, and these are the people that are committed to using technology. So if we have to make a decision between something we've randomly thought up on staff, you know, to do for our next report, or something that group of members wants, we know to default to what the membership wants.
Yeah. Okay.
And it helps us plan and understand what we're doing. Of course, there's not just a couple members. There's about 10,000. So it's not a small group of people to talk to, but it's you know, smaller than, I guess, the rest of the world, if we were trying to listen to everyone.
And Megan, in the session she was in on community building, made the point that there's often surveying. You're frequently surveying. Okay, but all right. Well, you won't say cheap, but it's really cheap.
It is a low price.
Okay, what is it? For people who would like to be members. What's the cost?
So the price is based on your operating budget. So it starts really low and goes up, but I think the highest that it goes is about $350, and that's for organizations.
Oh, that's for huge organizations.
Exactly,
I thought
and it's
like
for unlimited staff.
$50 or $75 or something.
Yep,
I know. I can tell you're a little hesitant. Oh, it's 75. You do know. Okay, all right. So
for small organizations that have 500,000.
And that's multiple members.
Yep, every staff person can be a member.
It's per organization, not per person.
Exactly.
I want to say that again. It's per organization. Doesn't matter how big or small you are. It's not per person.
Yep.
Very welcoming.
Yeah.
Really welcoming. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what can members expect beyond
accessing resources?
Yeah, in the membership. Yeah, in the membership category.
So of course you're going to get discounted registration to conferences like the NTC, and then our other conference, the Leading Change Summit, in the fall.
Oh, that is going to be an annual now? Because
Yep.
last year was the first.
Last year was the first.
And it did well,
this,
leading change?
Yep. And this year we will be in Washington, D.C. in September, the 13th through the 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leading change is cool. Let's take a little digression to that.
Okay.
What's Leading Change Summit about?
Well, we already talked about how the NTC has been going basically since NTEN has been going.
Yeah.
And
Before.
exactly. And it's a space where really, every kind of organization, every size of organization, all of the different technology providers, all the service providers. This is the conference for everybody. And there's currently, we looked at it this morning, 17 sessions per time slot.
Yeah.
There's just so much that happens here, and it's really a place where people come because they want to meet people, they want to meet up with people they already know, they want to find that person that can help them, and they want to go to lots of sessions. But that doesn't mean that there's a lot of time where you're not talking to people, going to different sessions, going around to all the different parties. We wanted to create another space that let people who maybe didn't necessarily need to learn things in a session, they already had the ideas. They just needed people to poke holes in those ideas or people to give them the push they needed to really try it out. So the Leading Change Summit, unlike the NTC with 2,000 people, Leading Change Summit has about a couple hundred, 300 people. It's purposefully small because there are no sessions. It is a facilitated process. So you come in with your ideas or your challenges or this thing that it's been driving you crazy and you don't know how to get over it at your organization, and through those 3 days have the opportunity to work with trained experts, facilitators, and everyone else that's there to say, this is what I want to do, help me tear it apart so I make it better. And the Leading Change Summit ends with an idea accelerator. So people can formally throw out an idea, have people join their team and help make it better throughout the day. And at the end of the day, you can pitch for real prizes. So organizations are receiving software, other technology, they're receiving pro bono branding, pro bono strategic advice. All of those pieces come to projects that are voted on at the end of the day by everyone in the room, so that they can really become real.
Okay. The Leading Change Summit. It's going to be Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
When is it?
September 13 through 16.
Okay. All right. So that was a digression. Now back to what we were talking about.
So,
membership
members have
benefits.
lower rates on both of the conferences. And, of course, on we do online educational programs, webinars, and community calls all year. And for members, those are either free or 50% off every time. And then members also always have free access to our research. Little known fact or rarely used member benefit is that NTEN members, for research that's done in-house at NTEN, so not necessarily our partner reports, but reports that we collect and analyze all the data, members can have access to the raw data to run their own analysis if they want to do their own report, or they want to compare their organization's data against the report data.
All right.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's online community groups. We call them communities of practice. We have the tech clubs we talked about. There's just, any idea the community has for a way that will bring people together or create more resources for others. We're all ears. We are happy to create those things.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Let's say a little more about the communities of practice.
Sure.
Really, very diverse subset of communities.
Oh, yeah. And they're community-led. So we don't necessarily say there should be a community of practice on this topic and we just create it. Instead, we wait for a community member to say they want to have that community, and we encourage them to have at least one other co-leader so that you don't feel like all the pressure's on you. Yeah. You have two people.
I got to do it myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's normally two. I think one of the communities of practice even has 5 organizers, and they have an online group. Some of them have a weekly Twitter chat that's public. Some of them have monthly community calls, phone calls where people call in. Others do full webinars.
So really self-directed.
Totally self-directed. We provide those platforms. So you're using NTEN's webinar platform, so you don't have to pay for it as a community group or our phone line, whatever. And we, of course, help with promotion or making sure people know about the community of practice. And like you said, super wide range. There's a community of practice for women in technology. There's a community of practice for people who use Drupal as a web platform. So, everything in between.
There was some conversation about starting one in podcasting.
Yes, there was on the show.
Did that, yeah. And you had been hearing, that was from a listener. Mm-hmm. But then you had been getting some interest independent.
Yep.
Did a podcasting community practice get started? Or?
what I remember is that I think they were going to start after the NTC because I think some folks were going to try and meet up here in person.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
excellent,
But
excellent.
there's definitely maybe people are taking your lead. They like this only audio thing, and they want to meet up. They want to start making them from themselves.
I certainly do. Well, podcasting's getting a lot of popular press now. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been doing it 4.5 years.
Exactly.
So I feel like an early adopter. Finally,
Yeah,
something.
right.
We're finally an early. Besides gray hair, I've been early, which I had at age 16.
Oh my
I had
gosh.
a patch of gray hair right here on my left temple. When I was like
Really?
16 years old. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But so aside from that, now I've actually early adopted something by choice.
Right.
What did I know? Yes, I love the audio format. Although we brought video to NTC.
Yes, of course.
Because I found a great local videographer.
Oh, great.
I'll shout him out, Wes Shepard. He's our videographer, and it's a multi-channel.
Yeah,
Because
look
I'm always
at
here.
you.
I'm listening to your advice.
Exactly.
You're often encouraging multi-channel engagement.
Exactly.
So, let's see. All right. So I got an interesting question. You're
Okay.
the CEO of this gig. You brought
I sure am.
2,000 people to Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Are you at the Ritz-Carlton, Austin? You have butler service. You have a three-bedroom suite, private
No.
jacuzzi. What you don't get? You brought 2,000 people here.
I think a city like Austin, 2,000 people is pretty small. I think in a week they're going to have like 30,000
Well,
people.
South by.
So
Yeah, South by
exactly.
starts in a week.
Exactly.
You're not at one of the Grand Hotel. You're not in the Ritz-Carlton or something.
No, I mean,
Oh,
we
okay.
all have our all the staff rooms are in the rooms where we have the hotel contract. So
Yeah.
I do have a second bed. I don't know why. I have
Oh.
a hotel room that has 2 beds in it, but I don't know that that's
No, you don't have a
You know.
butler. No butler service.
no butler.
No.
Would you like to be my butler?
No, I would not like to be a butler.
Okay,
no,
fine.
I would not. Well, I have a 2-bedroom. I have 2 double beds in my room too.
See, well, there we go.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw you in the presidential suite. No.
You mean in your mind you saw me there?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
as the-
I thought-
as the organizer.
I have not been
Oh,
there.
yeah. So, well, I'm sorry. Is he naked in the presidential suite? No, neither figuratively nor literally. No, I just envisioned you in the. No, you didn't know that perk doesn't come.
I don't know that we pay the
CEO?
big bucks.
What's
you
your own
know?
What's your own history at NTEN? Going back before membership director, when I first knew you and you first joined this show.
Yeah.
Membership director. What's your own history?
I've been an NTEN member for many years. I was part of the community. I actually used to be based before New York and before London. I was back in Portland and started the Portland Tech Club that actually still exists today.
Do you still
However,
go to-
many
do you go
years
to meetings?
later.
Do you still
Oh
go?
yeah, I was still
You
helping organize.
Oh,
so I
excellent.
started
Okay.
that group back in 2007 in Portland, and then a year later moved to London, started the tech club there, moved to New York, helped with the tech club because it was already going, and then when I moved back to Portland in summer 2013, helped again with the Portland Tech Club, even though it had been all these years and whole cycles of organizers had gone through, and yeah, it was pretty cool to see that it was still going and the community's continuing. Yeah.
It's your baby.
Yeah.
What year was that? Portland. You started. You started the club.
2007, I started the club.
Okay, that was really. So that was your beginning of
Of
the
having a
NTEN membership. Did you have? were
no,
you an NTEN
I was
member
already
before
a member, but that's when I had
Okay.
my kind of
Formal.
active role because I was an
All right.
organizer.
that?
Yeah.
But a member. Do you remember when your first membership year was? I'm gonna try to track the whole history. No,
I'm not
sure.
sure. I mean, I guess I would say, I think in 2005 we had an organizational membership. The organization I was at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And through Europe too. Love that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Oh, there's things of something I was going to ask you, and now I forgot about it. Tell me more about what other types of events are there? You.
Yeah, we have lots of different kinds of
Yeah,
it. I mean,
yeah.
we gravitate towards online things just because they're more accessible. You don't have to fly anywhere. You don't have to pay for a hotel. So we do a lot that's online, or we try and make things accessible online. So the NTC has 30 sessions recorded and uploaded for people who aren't here. But we also have what we call labs, and they're not a full conference. They're just one day, and they normally have a capacity of only 40 or 50 people, but they're an all-day workshop, hands-on, doing kind of real strategy or planning work. So we'll walk you through how to create your evaluation plan. How do you go from knowing what your mission is to what happens to be in your database to what should be in your database and what you want to be measuring, or how do you create a campaign plan, those kinds of things. We'll do those in labs, and we have think we have about 8 of them this year. We've already had one that was on technical project management. That sounds a little nerdy, but it was saying, even if you're not techie, if you're going to do a website redesign, how long does that take?
How do you handle this project?
How much does it cost? I mean, how do you
timeline,
know how to manage
budget,
it? Exactly.
Staff, whatever. Yeah, all
exactly.
That.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do labs. We have the conferences. But I'm always really impressed, just to go back to communities of practice again, by the diversity of those events. I kind of mentioned it, but we have a group that organizes Twitter chats every week. It takes a lot of work to organize a Twitter chat,
yes,
and they're doing that as
yeah.
volunteers every week. And then we have community calls where people call in. There's one for, I forget what they're called. They changed their name. Technology managers. It's basically anyone in an organization who, feels like they're managing all the systems.
All right.
And they have an open call, and people will call in and just ask, I need a new ticketing help desk. What does everybody use? And they just kind of crowdsource answers for each other every month. And the Drupal group I mentioned, they have webinars because they take turns literally sharing their screen and showing each other how to fix code, how to install modules. I mean, it's just so sharing, It's such a great spirit that then when we think, we're going to put on a workshop, here, take everything, because you're probably going to go do this workshop tomorrow better than we did it today. Just take it and run with it.
You're coming up on your 2-year anniversary.
Yeah,
in June.
in June.
June is your 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Any, I don't know, lessons learned or something that you're willing to share about moving from a staff position, membership director, to CEO?
I don't know. I kind of can't believe that it will be 2 years. In June.
I remember when it was. I know
I
think of you every June.
I feel like time flies, right?
All right. Well, that means
but I think it's really great. I mean, I am so proud of how much this small number of staff have done now whatever it would be.
What's the size of the
11
staff? 11.
Counting me.
Yeah.
So to have, put on 2 conferences, this one that we're at now and last year with over 2,000 people and everything else that we do year round, it just feels so cool to be a part of that team where magic is happening.
Well, that's an example of the smart use of technology.
Yeah.
You use a lot of shared documents, conferencing, right?
Exactly.
Conference docs. Yes.
Because we also have 2 staff who are remote. So they're not in the office. We can't just rely on.
Is there some? Okay.
Julia Smith over there, former staff person, taking a picture of us.
Hi, Julia. Yes, you have 2 people remote.
So we have 2 people remote. So we've kind of changed our processes that we just don't. You don't have a meeting unless you have a Hangout video or Skype video, something going that can loop in who else is not in the room.
Yeah.
And everything we do, we're taking notes in live documents so that they can be shared with people. And it's just made that kind of daily practice of how to work with staff has made events like this really easy because you don't have things squirreled away on just one computer. Everything's living in the cloud. Staff are used to having to use collaborative apps on their phone to post an update to everybody. Things like that where it just makes live events so seamless because we know how to communicate with everybody. We know where the resources live, all of that.
You're an outstanding example of the use of technology in nonprofit organizations.
I mean, we feel like we have to be, right?
You are. Yeah. you should. And,
yes.
And you are, in fact, walking the walk.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is great to hear. We have high expectations for ourselves.
Amy Sample Ward. She's the CEO of NTEN, the Nonprofit Technology Network, monthly contributor in social media to Nonprofit Radio, and a good friend.
Yeah.
Really, I love our collaboration together. You're going to come on the 250th show?
Yeah.
July.
When
My anniversary
is July.
Show anniversary is July. 250.
Yeah.
Coming up. I don't know the day,
oh my
but
God.
we'll get you on.
Okay.
You started with show number 100.
Yes.
That was the first one you were on.
Yes. I like to start on, rememberable
milestones.
Times. Yeah,
milestone
exactly.
Times. This is Tony Martignetti, Nonprofit Radio coverage of the Nonprofit Technology Conference. Thanks so much for being with me and Amy.